Swifties across the globe awaiting the release of her latest album, The Tortured Poets Department, out on Friday this week. Not just her new album that's getting people excited, Anti-Hero, the song we just heard there, alongside some of her most famous hits, are now available on TikTok again. You'll have noticed that they were removed back in January after a dispute between the social media platform and Universal Music. I've got Andrew Eborn with me from Octopus TV, specialiser in licensing and IP rights. Morning, Andrew.
Good morning, Sean. Absolute delight to join you. And isn't it thrilling? Yes, Taylor Swift, new album, Tortured Poets, coming out this Friday. And it's interesting because Universal had stopped licensing its content for TikTok. And as you probably know, TikTok is a powerhouse for music promotion. It's one of their key experiences and one of the fastest growing in the world. And the big dispute was about how much money was going to be paid by TikTok for use of the music. And just to put it in perspective, TikTok generated an estimated 16.1 billion revenue in 2023, and it's got about 4 billion downloads around the world. It's seen by the music industry as a real powerhouse for music promotion. But what Universal, which is the largest music company in the world, are saying is, well, you're not giving us enough money for use of our rights. And the reason that Taylor Swift can do it is because she owns her rights to her music and so on and so forth. And so she's obviously done a deal directly. And when you look at the figures, they're quite shocking because TikTok, they say, was about 1% of Universal's revenue, of about 110 million a year they received from TikTok. Whereas Spotify, however, the streaming Swedish streamer, they paid about 9 billion in 2023 to the different music companies. So huge amounts of revenue, but a big, big discrepancy between the platforms.
Do you think, Andrew, that anything has actually changed here? We never get to know the small print of these agreements, but Taylor Swift returning to TikTok, is that because TikTok have given a bit of grace, or because Universal and Taylor Swift have decided, well, we can't carry this on much longer? This is massive for us, particularly with the new album out.
Oh, well, absolutely. And it was interesting. Taylor did a similar sort of thing on Spotify. You might remember she came off in 2014. She pulled her music saying she didn't really get enough money. But as a thank you to her fans in 2017, when her album 1989 passed 10 million sales, she went back on Spotify. Obviously, a new deal had been done. Taylor signed with Universal in 2018. But whilst she's part of the roster of artists, as I say, she owns her rights. So she recognizes the promotional value. The fact that users of TikTok can utilize that music makes it incredibly powerful. And I was down in Cannes at the last few days. I was with the wonderful Rick Astley, and you will recall that Rick Rolling suddenly brought his music into a whole new era.
But I doubt he fought that on YouTube at the time, though, did he?
Well, exactly. And you had similar things with Kate Bush in Stranger Things, and you also have the wonderful Sophie Ellis-Bextor in that brilliant movie Saltburn. All of these are fantastic promotional platforms. It brings music to a new generation, and it also brings appropriate revenue. That's the big discussion. But Universal is still rumbling on the debate. I mean, there are three angles, not just about the music side, but also about AI, artificial intelligence. And I speak around the world as the Futurist, back to the Futurist, talking about how AI is going to revolutionize our lives, but also rights for artists. So that needs to be looked at fairly. And they're also talking about online safety for TikTok users and how basically things can get positioned in a certain place, algorithms and so on and so forth.
Andrew,
and could be wrong associations.
Great. Thank you so much for laying all that out. That's what it's all about when you see those headlines and hear more Taylor Swift throughout the week. Andrew Eborn there from Octopus TV. Thank you to those who've been in touch this morning. Big thanks to April and to Maya as well. That's it from Wake Up to Money.
Wake Up to Money from BBC 5 Live.